Hello, good evening, everyone. Today is November the 3rd, and we're going to be discussing what we have left for the last 2 months of the Forex cycle. The pair we're looking at first is Euro USD. For you guys who've been following the cycle since we've been trading earlier this year, we had I'm gonna highlight the key zones in which this was the start of the year basically. So 1/4 shapes. I'm highlighting the keys zone so you guys could see what's going on, right? If you guys been following, you guys should already understand what's going on for the guys who've been following. Alright, so now in real time we have this candle, which is November's candle. November is a very significant month because this month is the US election, and every year there's always a very volatile spike. It usually spikes over, I would say, 150 to 200 pips. From that, you see the day that the winner of the election is announced, the market gets very volatile to the point where it spikes 150 to 200 pips. It usually happens the night after Thanksgiving. So the night after Thanksgiving London session, it usually happens around there, around 5, 6 in the morning. Well, anyways, it's this candle. So we have to expect that spike to happen within this current candle. So that means this candle would make a huge spike. It's going to spike in either direction, which is it's going to spike bulls, or it's going to bears, or it's going to spike bulls. I think it's going to spike bulls up to this zone, the 179. I think it's going to spike all the way up here into this zone and then come back down, close, which will leave the month of December. Once the candle closes below, that's confirmation that this whole resistance zone is going to hold. So for this month, which is November, we're expecting with the news election coming out, it should be spike high, roughly around here. After the election is released for USD, whenever they have the winners of the election, the news release is going to stop hunt all the way up and then come back down. If it closes up here, then we have a problem, because if it closes up here, then it's fair to say December would possibly continue like this. So let me insert some text. So this would be November. November's candle, right? And then we need December's candle, which is this one right here. So December. Alright, so it's fair to say if November closes bulls, December is a possibility that December might take out this range. You see this 2, 4, 6 months range right here, and another 4 months accumulation, and another. It's a pattern being formed here basically. So whenever this pattern breaks, the market is going to go in that direction for at least, I would say, 3 to 5 months. So let's say it's going to be the start of the new year. We only have 2 more candles. So after these 2 candles, a new year is going to start, which is going to be the first quarter, which is January, February, March. If it does close around above here in December, we would have to expect January, February, March to continue bulls. That's if the election stop hunt for the USD closes. It's bad for the currency and it closes up there. Then December will close, and then January, February, March, which is the first quarter, will be going in this direction. Vice versa, if it closes, which we expect it to stop hunt up here, but closes bears, and then December will reset down in this zone. Vice versa, the first quarter would be a bearish quarter, which is January, February, March. Would expect it to be bearish in this direction. Right? So you see how I'm drawing. I'm basically making a trading plan based off previous resistance, support, resistance. I'm predicting the next quarter, which is January, February, March. The next quarter down here is going to be January, February, March. If it's a bullish or bearish, all dependent on how the USD news this month closes. And then December would react off this candle. NFP resets, you know how. But anyways, that's December. But for this month into this candle, what we expect to be doing. So now that we expecting the NFP stop hunt, the election stop hunt, that's the key thing in which we're going to avoid. So the election is going to start sometimes. The election is going to start on the 8th, I believe. So from the 8th, it's going to be a lot of range and accumulation until that breakout actually happens. So hold on, let me show you guys something. How we're going to have to be trading until that breakout. We're going to have to scalp and try to avoid, one moment, we're going to have to be scalping the sessions, but we're going to have to avoid the long-term trading because there won't be any position trading until the new stop hunt. Remember, the new stop hunt, we're expecting it to come somewhere around here. So let's keep this section highlighted for the new stop hunt, right? So now we're gonna have to be trading from the weekly, scalping the sessions on the daily. So this is what we have. So in real life, we expect the new stop hunt to come somewhere up here, right? So regardless of everything going on, we expect this November a huge stop hunt for election news release, and then it should drop down here to close. It will just be a stop hunt. We'll just go up there and come back down. Alright, so with that in mind, let's show you how we will set up. So I would say 2 weeks until that candle with the stop hunt, which is like the third candle in the month. So for this week, we're gonna be continuing to buy until it actually reaches the third week. Hold those buys for the stop hunt up there, and then see the reaction. If it breaks, if it comes back down off it, or if it goes through, we know it's gonna be a bullish quarter. January, February, March, right? So for this week, using the Pip Ortiz technique, you guys should already know, but using the Pip Ortiz technique, we're gonna enter the buys. Our stop loss is gonna be below this zone. So this is for this week. We're gonna be scalping the buys until we reach up here for that election stop hunt, when it's gonna either break through here, come down, or continue through and close. So I want you to take a look at this now. We're going to be buying off this weekly candle, right? So let's go into the daily and look for a more solid position. This is what it looks like. Remember in the signal chat, there's a signal to buy Euro USD somewhere in this zone. Well, now you guys see the reason why. We're going to be holding it for it to go up to the zone. Just that news stop on. It's probably not going to go up there now. You'll probably do this. Range. It's probably range around a bit until like the end of when it's time for that huge stop hunt. It's gonna go like it's gonna happen out of nowhere. In less than 5 minutes, it's gonna spike up and drop back down. And then from there, it should just continue into December candle, which is bearish, right? So into this week, I'm going to be giving the buy signals for us to continue the buys into that stop hunt zone, which is up here on the monthly trend. I expect one last stop hunt for the news election. Whenever they announce the winner of the US election, those governors and whatever candidates, it's gonna have a huge impact, and then we'll enter from there. Okay, guys, this is for the Euro USD. It's gonna be the same correlation for all pairs, because you know the correlation: Euro USD, GBP USD, AUD USD, NZD USD. They all follow the same cycle, but just a different trend. So it's basically going in the same cycle, just trending differently. And USD JPY, USD CAD, USD SHAC, they do the opposite. But it's very interesting because I want you guys to look at candles such as NZD USD. The monthly candles, they already completely engulf the previous months. So that means this month candle is gonna have it's gonna close some type of bullish. If it closes below here, for sure, I would say this stop hunt is probably gonna reset somewhere around here. The US election stop hunt probably reset somewhere around here on the NZD USD, but it can't go back over this zone right here, because the news stop hunt, the election stop hunt, it should not pass here with NZD USD, because vice versa, just like with Euro USD, if we break through January, February, March, first quarter, we're going to be expecting a bullish market. First quarter will be a bullish market if it does decide to break through there, right? We need the election to just spike up, come back down, and close. Break through December candle, and then we'd have a bearish continuation into 2019. So this is the first quarter, which is January, February, March, April, May, June, because we're basically at the end of the last quarter, because this election, and then after that December, Christmas and all that stuff, it's not going to be as much. The major breakout is going to happen after this election spike. We catch the high of December, and that should in turn breaks into January, February, March, first quarter of the breakout, which will be roughly one of these, right? It's the same concept with all the other pairs, such as AUD USD, GBP USD, Euro USD, and NZD USD, because all those pairs are in correlation. They follow the same cycle, just a different trend, right? The same correlation. As you notice, the same thing with GBP USD, the monthly completely starting to engulf also. I would say the new stop hunt will roughly be somewhere around here for GBP USD. And guys, these are going to lead into the next quarter. This stop hunt is very important because the direction it closes is setting up for next year, right? And this happens basically every year with the US election happening in November. Alright, so look, the new stop hunt would have to go up here, then come back down. If it breaks through, then we have a bullish quarter. And you see the correlation between all the other pairs like Euro USD, AUD USD, GBP USD. It's the same cycle that these are following, but it's different trends. But so, therefore, if this cycle is going to be bullish on AUD USD, GBP, it's going to be the same on all of them. So if 2019 is going to be bearish, that means it's going to be bearish on all the other pairs. If it's going to be bullish, it's going to be bullish on all the other pairs. USD JPY, USD CAD, USD SHAF, they move differently. So if those are going to be bearish, these are going to be the opposite, which is bullish, right? Anyways, with the new stop hunt, we would expect the stop hunt to just go up, reset these. You see these wicks? But it would hold that zone. The US election has to hold this zone, come back down and close for the bearish market to continue into the first. This would be the first quarter, which is January, February, March. We would need it to hold, come down, and continue. If it closes above, we need it to hold, continue, right? So it'll be the same setup basically across the board. We go into the weekly, since we're looking for those stop hunt. But this one's so you see a clearer view. The stop hunt zone will be up there. But this GBP USD is a bit tricky because it shouldn't have came up here so quick. It was very volatile last week. Like, I expected this to happen way later, but based off this, if we're going to be trading into GBP USD this week, we would have to be buying it somewhere around here. But I'm not going to put out the signal for the GBP USD as yet because it moves so fast. It might range around here for a little bit, and then right before the election, it spikes up. But overall, we're expecting that huge spike across the board for election. Let's go and look at USD JPY. These move opposite. So if Euro USD and AUD USD GBP USD is bearish, these are bullish. So if we're expecting a bearish market for those into 2019, we'll be expecting a bullish market for these. But vice versa, that news election is going to do the same thing, but the opposite. Is going to stop on low and close. It should stop on low and close above, and then once it closes above into December, it will rally back around, spikes. But if for some reason the trend, the cycle does decide to change and it does break through here, once it breaks through here and close, it's pretty much, that's it. This major support right here that it's been playing around in, once it breaks through there, this is a news election spike. We expect the news election to spike low. But if it breaks down here and close, then we have a problem. It's going to go back there, continue bearish into 2019. This will be the first quarter of 2019. January, February, March. These are what we're going to be expecting. Either one of these directions. And these pullback NFP drop for the month. Pullback NFP drop for the month. Not just NFP, but the first week, second week. That's more into trading strategy. You know, the first week, second week, it all has different impact in the market. NFP, the reset, etc. The pullbacks, basically. You gotta avoid these pullbacks. Right? So this would be the first quarter, which it should be this because we're expecting the dollars to continue to recover, which is Euro USD, GBP USD, AUD USD. Those would be sells. So USD JPY, USD CAD, USD SHAF, those would be bullish. So we are expecting a bullish market into the USD SHAF. Once the news election stop hunt low, hold this zone. It should stop hunt low on USD JPY, USD CAD, and USD SHAF. Once it stop hunts hold low, hold these zones, it will continue, right? You should see the same thing in USD SHAF. This is what USD CAD. Yes, USD CAD. See, I already had it drew up from the last webinar we had. See, it came up perfectly off that monthly zone. You guys see, I still had it drew up from like 2 months ago. But the last webinar I did was 2 months ago. So you guys notice it did continue off this. But for the election stop hunt, we're going to expect to come back down once more for that election stop hunt. Once it holds the election stop hunt, it will break through this zone. However, if it don't break through the zone with election stop hunt low, then continue. However, if it does go the opposite and breaks through here for the elections and close below, we'll expect a bearish market. And this will be the first quarter, January, February, March. And then we do the other quarter after that around the next webinar, right? So, with that being said, let's look at USD SHAF. See, they look the exact same, guys. If you look, USD SHAF, monthly the same. USD CAD, monthly the same. USD JPY, monthly the same. Is because USD JPY, they follow the same correlation, same cycle, different trend. So that's the overall view in which we're looking for the news to spike. It's going to spike, but it's not going to close. So the day after the election and the winners are announced, it's usually the London session after Thanksgiving. There's always those news release. Ever since I've been trading, it's always been happening. So I think you guys should also look out for it this month. And if it does happen this month again, then you should definitely look out for it every November, because it always seems to happen. Alright guys, so based off that, I'm going to be giving you the trading plans from the buy zones to those stop hunts, and then across the board, same pairs: USD JPY, USD CAD, USD SHAF,